my name is Arica Campbell. I'm making this video for my Arts and Early Childhood Education class at Northampton Community College. This is for lab number 9, and we are talking about how to incorporate Play-Doh into our curriculum. So I planned a lesson last week to do this week all about Play-Doh and how we can use Play-Doh with our preschool children. So one thing that I learned about preschool children is that they are constantly learning and they're constantly growing. And one thing that can be a little challenging for our young children is their fine motor development skills. And their fine motor development skills relate to their hands, their fingers, their wrist, and the muscles around those that make things work together. So Play-Doh is a really good way to strengthen those muscles in their fingers and their hands and their wrists. So that is something that I like doing with the children that I serve. So this week, we were talking about spring. Spring just started coming in full effect. We're seeing the nice weather and we're seeing the rain, and soon enough we'll be seeing the flowers. So I decided to plan a lesson talking about the different flowers and the different plants that we would see in Pennsylvania and near our hometown where we're at. So to start this lesson, I always think it's important to step back and think about the interests and the abilities of the children. And the children that I serve, they do very well with group activities. So I decided this would be a great time to have all the children together and look at the different plants and the flowers that we have around us. So I planned this lesson, and one thing that I thought would be good is to start by just looking at some of the flowers that may be familiar. So right here I have a rose, and I would show the children this rose and I would ask them questions if they know what it is and maybe what it smells like and maybe where they would find it. And I would keep this here as a kind of an inspiration for the next part that we're gonna do. I also have a few bouquets here of flowers that I would have around for the children to look at. And these are just different types of flowers that we would see in spring that can really inspire the children for the next part of the activity. While talking about flowers and everything, I think it's important to really to stretch their learning. So one thing that I would kind of do is look up interesting facts that might stick with the children. So like one thing that I looked up is the Pennsylvania state flower, which I learned was the mountain laurel. And I could show them pictures of that and explain to them that each state has a flower and this so happens to be ours. And I could show them pictures and we could talk about it. Another thing that I like to do is connect our learning to the children's prior knowledge. So one thing that I could do is like, have you ever planted flowers? And I could ask them about that experience. Or one time if they've ever gone to a garden show, or where we live, there's a place called Longwood Gardens, if they've ever been there, and we could talk about their experiences. And that really connects their own lives to what they're learning at school. So for my official activity, I decided to use different types of Play-Dohs to create their own flowers based on the information we just talked about. So they could create a flower like the rose that they saw, or like the bouquet, or they can use their own creativity and create a flower that is unique and special to them. While we're doing this, I could ask them again questions about what they're doing and how they're doing it and why they're doing it the way they are, just to keep their minds going as they work. So I have a few different color Play-Dohs. I also have different scents. And one thing that I like to do when I'm working with preschool children is adding water to some of the Play-Doh for my children who struggle with fine motor development. That gets the texture to be a little softer and easier to manipulate. So I like to do that as a little tip while working with young children. So for this activity, I would open up the Play-Doh and I would really just have them go to town, and I would have them roll it in their hands, and I'd have them shape it, and I'd have them mold it, and I'd have them put it together. And at the end of the day, I would let it dry out and we would send it home for them to take home and show to their families and really talk and have that conversation about what they learned at school and what they did and how they made it and the shapes that they made to use to create it. And it's just something really special. So I did create a little flower little collage using Play-Doh and different clays that are actually scented. So one smells like mint, the other one smells like lavender. So this is a way to get the children's senses into the activity as well. So this is an example of what I did, and this is my lesson for lab number 9 in my Arts and Early Childhood Education class. Thanks so much.